Real stories of rising through hardships, raw truths around life and parenting. What does the universe have in store for us? Self-care to your core. We shine best in our authenticity. Welcome to Rise and Shine with the Mama Jack. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Rise and Shine with the Mama Jack. Today, I have a very special podcast for you. So, today is October 8th, 2024. On October 8th, 2004, yes, 20 years ago, I had an event happen to me that changed my life forever. Just so you know, this podcast is really not going to be edited at all. This is all my reoccurrence. Now, this is my first PTSD story, right? You've heard about the car accident before if you are a Mama Jack listener, but I've held back. I'm going to tell you, I've held back. There are aspects to the story that I was not sharing on the internet at the time because I wasn't ready. And now I'm ready. Because this is Rise and Shine with the Mama Jack, and we're letting that spiritual side show. So let's go back to the date, October 8th, 2004. I was a cheerleader in high school. I had graduated a couple months earlier, so it was the homecoming game, and we all went back, alumni, say hello, see people we hadn't seen since May, it was like a big deal, right? So I'm like, all dressed up, go to the game, see all these people. Afterwards, we always went to this place in Pittsburgh. Well, it's outside of Pittsburgh called Eaton Park. It's just like Denny's or whatever, a little diner. So my car that I was using had broken down that week. I was using my mom's car at the time. I didn't have a car and something happened to it. It broke down. I also was a hair assistant at this time in Pittsburgh, right? And my dream had always been to go to California and go to Vidal Sassoon Academy, but I just wasn't saving money. So I started looking into beauty schools that week, right? I was like, there was one called Bella Capelli, and I was going to get a tour of it and going to go to this beauty school. And then I figured, I'll go out there, save a little money and get like the master's program. Okay. So I settled. It wasn't my dream, but I was settling. So let's go back to the football game. Everything's cool. Yeah. Saying hi. Oh yeah. Look at me. Like, you know how you are whenever you first graduate. Like, ooh, what are you doing? What are you doing? Are you at school yet? Like all these things happening. So we decide to go to the Eaton Park after to see everybody. On the way there, I was with my friend and she was driving us. And we had this road. For those of you in the area, you probably know it. It's like a roller coaster road. Okay. So when you're young and not thinking about anything and thinking you're just like, nothing can impact you. It was like fun to drive on, right? Like woo, 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 woo. Like one bends and hills. And okay. So we get to this one part of the road on the way to Eaton Park, and I all of a sudden felt this like whoosh of calm energy come over me. Now, I had been getting a little scared because my friend was driving a little fast, but I also was just always paranoid in cars anyway. So I was like, Jackie, it's going to be okay. So I felt this like calming sensation. It was almost like a hug. It was like a hug, and I heard a whisper in my ear, just relax and everything will be okay. And before that last word could even come out of whatever's mouth it was, I heard screeching. I opened my eyes and we were in a tree. Like literally we had gone off the side of the road, overcorrected and went into a tree. Now, her car was smashed to pieces. The dashboard came in on us, right? Somehow I remembered her cell phone she had always kept in the cubby underneath the radio. That wasn't there whenever we looked at the car afterwards, but somehow I found the cell phone. I called 911. They asked where we were. I told them where we were. My friend was completely knocked out. Told them where we were. They said, "Is the car on fire?" I said, "I don't think so. I think I'm just seeing steam, but I don't think it's fire." And they asked my location again. I said, "I'm in the middle of um, this road." I forget if I said the right name of it. Paintertown Road. I think that's what it's called. I don't know. I forget the name of the road. But in the middle of this road, that's where I told them, like, it's literally one road that gets you from one place to another. It ends at one point, it starts at another point. So a volunteer firefighter heard the call, stopped to check on us. The car was on fire. They didn't have a fire extinguisher. Another car that was a passerby came. They had a fire extinguisher and they put the fire out. So, angel number one, have no clue who these people are. They saved our lives because we were stuck in that car. They weren't getting us out. Evidently, at some point, my friend tried to get out. I don't remember this because I was in and out of consciousness the whole time. But then the fire trucks came. It woke me up a little bit. The EMTs came. It woke me up a little bit. I had this woman to the side of me, an EMT, telling me everything that was happening, right? They had gotten my friend out super quick. They life flighted her downtown to a hospital, okay? She had brain injuries. So that was super serious. I mean, her head, Honda, okay, her head hit the steering wheel and then the airbag came back and broke her nose. So she had a concussion and bleeding in her brain from her head hitting the steering wheel. And then I believe a broken nose from when the airbag went off after, just putting it out there. So this is also the reason I'm very nervous and I don't really like to get into Honda Civics anymore. Anyways, back to what I remember. So the EMT is there. She's beside me. She's telling me everything. "Sweetheart, you were in a car accident." I was like, "Yes, I know. I called 911." She's like, "Yes, so you are stuck in this car and we're going to have to use a lot of tools to get you out." Okay. And at this point, I was in and out of consciousness. But I have to tell you, it was not scary for me. I felt completely safe. I felt almost like protected. Like, I don't know if it was my adrenaline or what was happening, but it was almost surreal. And this woman's like, "Okay, sweetheart, we have to break the windows." So she covers me, with this tarp and they break the window on the side, they break the windshield. "Okay, sweetheart, we're getting out the what's called the jaws of life. We're going to cut the top of the car off." So I hear all this happening. They're cutting the top of the car off. They had to completely take the top of the car off. I was stuck in between where the dashboard would be and the seat, like completely stuck. So they had to cut the chair out. And again, she's telling me all this stuff. She was an angel. Like, no, just her beside me, holding my hand through everything, like rubbing my head. I'm pretty sure she was dusting glass out of my hair. Like, complete angel EMT. Okay. Complete. This is why firefighters, EMTs, oh my God, I have the chills. They have my heart. Lifesavers. Lifesavers. And oh my gosh. So, yes, they cut my chair out. I remember all of this. They lifted me out of the back of the car and then they had to pull me onto a stretcher. So at this point, I'm in like the headgear, right? They say don't move your neck, don't move anything, which is weird because when I first woke up, I was moving everything, right? I didn't feel anything. I felt no pain, but I knew I had to get to a cell phone. And God only knows how I found that cell phone, but we found the cell phone, whatever, past that part of the story. So they lift me out. I feel like my left leg is like hanging off. Like, I remember feeling like it was bouncing, and every time it would bounce, I would pass out again. And they got me into the ambulance. They drove me to a nearby field and they had to life flight me as well. Now, I woke up in the helicopter. Again, I'm on this like high. I don't know what it was that came over me. Maybe somebody that knows a little bit more about this can tell me what was happening. I say it's adrenaline. I don't know. Honestly, I think I was very close to death, and we'll get to that part. So I am in a life flight. They're taking me to a hospital downtown. I open my eyes and I see these people around me. I had the earmuffs on. They all had earmuffs on. And I'm like, am I flying? And they were just like, yeah, honey, you're in a life flight. Like, we're taking you to the hospital. And I was like, this is the first time I ever flew. And then, boom, passed out again. Woke up in the ER. Everybody's like crazy around me, right? They're trying to put my leg back into place. They couldn't give me any drugs. At this point, I feel like the adrenaline was starting to wear off. All I remember is I have stitches, like you can't see it. There's a scar right here. I got sliced by something, who knows? And I there was definitely something wrong with my neck at the time that they couldn't tell because I needed a full body scan for them to be able to tell anything that was wrong with me. And this is just the ER at this point, right? So they're fixing what they can. So they kept trying to put my leg back into place, finding out after that there was nowhere to put it because my femur had gone all the way up through my acetabulum, which is what holds your femur into your hip bone, and into the top, scraping my femoral artery. We all know what the femoral artery is, right? The one that makes you bleed out real quick. So the whole first week in the hospital, they couldn't do anything. They got my imaging back. My neck was a hairline away from being broken and me being paralyzed from the neck down. A hairline away. That means if I would have like jerked it when I was calling on the phone in any certain different way, I would have been paralyzed from the neck down. And this is at 18 years old. So we get all the scans back, see that my hip is shattered. I had bleeding internally. They couldn't do anything until I was like, they controlled that, right? So it was a week before they found out if it was going to stop. It finally stopped. They gave me blood, 2 operations later to fix my hip, and I was out of the hospital. Now, it was a lot to deal with at 18 years old, right? But I was a happy-go-lucky person. I remember people coming in and seeing me and crying, and I was like, oh, no, no, don't cry. I'm fine. I'm fine. Like, don't cry. It's okay. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Like, I just kept apologizing, right? Because I mean, I didn't do anything, but like, I didn't want to make other people sad. Like, that's how I was at that point. I didn't want to make other people sad. No, 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 no. I'll be okay. And I was in this state of bliss, man, like bliss. So when people often say like they're fearful of dying and you ask me the question, I say no. Because not only because of what I know now, but when I actually was actively dying, you know, I was in and out. They didn't actually have to resuscitate me. So I can't say maybe I was dying, but I didn't never died, right? So I was in full bliss. It was like the angels had already grabbed me and were protecting me. Anytime I was in too much pain, pass out immediately. Like, I remember pressure. I remember the weeks. I was in the hospital for 3 weeks, 2 different surgeries. I tried to reach out to the surgeons because they told me that I would need a hip replacement within 15 to 20 years. Well, hello, 20 years later. I believe their names were Rothman and Rosenberg. They were at Mercy Hospital at the time in 2004. So if anybody knows those 2 doctors, tell them I've been trying to get a hold of them to tell them ever since their surgery, it's been perfect. I have not needed anything else, no other treatment on it. I ran a 10K a couple months ago on it. I do HIIT workouts. It's fine. Like, good job, guys. They didn't want to give a hip replacement to an 18-year-old. I was at a hospital that was a learning hospital. So every time they came in to talk about my hip or anything, there was like I don't know, 8 people in the room. I can't exactly remember because I was on drugs because of all the pain. But yeah, they had me on the traction at first for my leg until they could get the bleeding under control. And then, yes, the 2 surgeries. They let me out of the hospital a week early because it was my birthday. It was my 19th birthday coming up, and they didn't want me to be in the hospital for my 19th birthday. So, a little tidbit before. About a week before this car accident happened, I had a dream. And it was really weird. Like one of those dreams that appears very real, right? So I was just sleeping in my bed and I sat up and I looked to my left, sorry, and there was a woman beside me. And I was like, what are you doing here? And I spoke it out loud because when I said here, I was awake in my bed and she was gone. And she was just pointing at me. And I was like, what the hell? And I thought about it. I was like, was that my grandma? Was that my grandma? So you think about the car accident and how I felt somebody like hug me and whisper in my ear. So I was always like, my grandmother was watching out for me or my grandfather was watching out for me. That's who spoke to me, right? Because I believed in those things, you know? So let's fast forward. Almost 20 years later, I get into my spiritual journey. Now, this is where you're going to say either, holy crap, or Jackie, you've lost your marbles. And you tell me what you believe. Is this my guide showing me something? Is this a timeline jump? Is this going into a different dimension? Who knows? Okay? But this is my story that happened probably about, I would say, 4 months into my spiritual awakening. I was in a group talking. It was my spiritual mamas. We were just chatting, whatever. All of a sudden, I got this call like in my head, you need to meditate now. You need to go meditate now. Now, 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 now. So I was like, guys, I gotta go. Like, I'm literally getting a hit. Like, I need to go do this right now. So I go into my normal meditation, blah, 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 you know, how I started, whatever. And all of a sudden, it's literally like my eyes were closed, but I was a bird's eye view above my car accident. And it was like a woof feeling, okay? Like I was there. I saw the car traveling down the road. All of a sudden, when it got to a certain point, in my meditation, I'm sitting up in my meditation, my arms go around me, okay? They wrap around me in a hug. And I said out loud in the meditation, everything's gonna be okay. Just stay calm. Everything's going to be okay. Just stay calm. And I had this feeling like I was holding myself. It was me. It was me in that moment, whispering into my own ear. So the car wrecks, I'm watching all of this, right? As I told you in the car accident, I was in and out of consciousness. I was losing blood. My femur had scraped my femoral artery. I was literally internally bleeding for a week afterwards, right? So this was a serious car accident. Like both of us shouldn't have made it with that fire in that car. Let's just start there, okay? So in this meditation, I'm watching all this happen. And then I would see myself pass out and automatically my hands would go like this. And I would physically feel like myself jerking up, like almost like it felt like I was pushing the blood back through my body. It was insane. When I say insane, like this was an insane meditation that I had, pushing the blood back through my body. And I was pushing with all of my might. It was like energy flowing through my arms. And this is me meditating, right? Like I see this. I'm like, no, we got to push. You're not leaving. I'm literally saying this in my head. You're not leaving at this moment, Jackie. You are meant for way more than what you've been here to do. You need to be here. And I'm pushing and I'm pushing. And then I would pass out again and I would push again. And I had somebody else in my meditation with me behind me. and they were holding me and they were saying, "It's okay. You're doing what you're supposed to do. This is exactly where you're meant to be right now. You need to be seeing this. It was you. It was you the whole time. It was you." And I'm like, what the hell? What the actual hell is going on? So I see them cut the top off of the car. I see the woman beside me. I see everything. I saw them take my friend away. I saw them pull me out of the car, put me into the ambulance, and all of a sudden I'm out of my meditation. And I just started bawling. What does this mean? Was this me the whole time? Was this my guide showing me something? What just happened? And I got back on with my friends because they were still on talking, and I started hysterically crying. I was like, guys, I just had this meditation about my car accident. And the whole time, like, I thought it was my grandma, but all of a sudden, I think it was me. I think it was me. I think it was me. And I know what I'm saying sounds completely insane. I know what I'm saying sounds completely insane. But guys, it was so real. It was so real. It was, it was realer than a dream. It was realer than a dream. Okay. When I say this, like 100% realer than a dream. What did I do? Did I quantum leap? Did I go through timelines? What was that? I still don't know what it was, but I know it was me. I know it was me, or it was my higher self. Me as my higher self pushing that person to stay here for a purpose. I had a higher purpose. That's why I'm here. That's why I'm doing this podcast today. Now, something I left out. A year to the date after that car accident. So this would have been 2005. It wasn't exactly a year to the date. It was the homecoming. So it was like a couple days off, right? I go and I face my fear because I hadn't driven down that road since the year before, honestly. Since the year before, I was too afraid. I drive down the road. I go to Eaton Park. I'm breaking the curse, right? We'll get there. And we have our fun in the back, whatever, hanging out with friends. I come up to the front, and I had always thanked all the firefighters and the EMTs. Now, let me tell you, no one would give me a name. I searched for the woman that was like beside me the whole time. That almost like, it was like for 4 months, and then I just gave up. I was like, they won't give me her name. Like, I'll never know. So there was this group of firefighters and EMTs eating in the front. And I walked up to them and I was like, you know what? I just have to come and say, you guys do God's work. And I was in a car accident about a year ago on Paintertown Road. It was Paintertown Road. I'm pretty sure that's what it's called. Sorry, guys, I haven't lived there in so long, but I'm pretty sure it's Paintertown Road. And there was a woman beside me. And as soon as I said that, this woman at the table goes, "Sweetheart, were you the passenger or the driver?" And I was like, "I was the passenger." And she looks at me and she goes, "I was the one holding your head the whole time." A year later, as I'm going through the cycle, and I finally met the angel that helped me through one of the scariest moments of my life. Now, as I said, I was blissful, but when you look back, a thing like this really gives you a lot of crap. It gives you a lot of baggage. So, needless to say, I paid for their meal. I started crying. I had to give her a hug. It was like an insane moment, right? And something else to think about was in 2005, when this was happening, I was getting ready to leave and move to California and go to the Vidal Sassoon Academy. The car accident I was in, it was a no-fault state. We got an attorney, and I made enough money to buy myself a car, pay for my tuition to go to the school that I wanted to go to, and to live there for the full year that I went to school. I was literally searching for beauty schools that week. I was committed to going to school in Pittsburgh. And this whole incident made it come around, and I got to fulfill my dream of moving to California. That's how I got out there, was this car accident. Blessing in disguise, a crazy blessing in disguise. I mean, but going back to that meditation, spiritual people, what was that? What do you think it was? Because as I interpret it, it was my higher self the whole time. It was my spirit team the whole time. And they were showing me what I'm capable of now. They were showing me of what I've done and what I did do. And was I time jumping? What happened? I need somebody's help. Somebody help me with this, because it was incredible. It was, first of all, it was incredibly healing. Secondly, it was freaky AF. Freaky AF. To be live, bird's eye view, watching all of this stuff and physically feel, it was like I was feeling what I was feeling in the car, and it was like, no, 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 no. And I would push through again. I was fighting for my own life from the sky. Okay? Bird's eye view. Fighting for my own life. Someone tell me. This is the spiritual side of Rise and Shine with the Mama Jack right here at its finest. Because that meditation changed my life forever. Not only did the car accident change my life forever, because when you almost die, the little things go away. Now, that's not to say I haven't had PTSD and I haven't had to go through a bunch of stuff. And you guys can go back through all of my PTSD episodes to see what that was all about. But this was interesting. And I've heard other people go through similar things. So, what do you think? Was it me? Was it somebody showing me what happened? Spiritual people, what's going on here? I'd love to know. But 20 years today, I'm still here. And yes, thank you to those doctors. Thank you to the EMTs. Thank you to the firefighters. Oh my gosh, saved my life. Thank you to the passerby. Thank you to the volunteer firefighter, everybody involved, because let me tell you, there were 100 different ways that could have went south really quick, like even more south than it already did. And me and my friend are both here to talk about it and tell the story. So, what do you think? Am I crazy? Or does stuff like this happen? Let me know what you think. I'm interested. Thank you, everybody, for listening to my story. Comment, share, and let me know your input. Thank you. Thank you for listening to another episode of Rise and Shine with the Mama Jack, where we deep dive into the real, raw, truthful world of parenthood, mental health, wellness, and spirituality. Remember, my loves, it's okay to take a moment for yourself, to breathe, to laugh, and embrace the beautiful messiness of life. Let's keep rising out of our shadows, shining our light, nurturing our souls, and spread love like confetti. Until next time, stay shamelessly authentic. Love, the Mama Jack. For more info and socials, go to shamelesslyauthenticproductions.com.